Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really simple but powerful framework for finding some calm in what feels like a pretty chaotic world. It's called the POISE method, and honestly, it might just change the way you relate to your own mind. So let me ask you something. How often does this happen to you? You feel pulled in a million different directions. You're reacting to every little thing. You're just feeling completely overwhelmed. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, well, you're definitely not alone. The good news is there's actually a way to change that default reaction.
Okay, but to find a solution that actually works, we have to look past the obvious stuff, the triggers, and get to the real source of our stress. And here's the first big idea. The problem isn't what you think it is.
This right here is such a crucial distinction. We tend to think that external events, like a tough meeting or a fight with someone, cause our suffering. But the idea here is that they're only triggers. The suffering itself, that feeling of anxiety, that stress, that anger, it's an internal experience. It's all about our reaction to what happens, not the event itself. So think about it. That demanding client, that nasty comment someone left, those are just the sparks. They aren't the fire. The real cause, the fuel for that fire, is our mind's automatic knee-jerk reaction. It's what we can call its default setting. And what does that default setting look like? Well, it's impulsive, it gets attached to things, and it is constantly looking for validation from the outside world. And that right there, that's exactly why we so often feel like we're just reacting to life instead of actually being in the driver's seat. But what if you could actually change that default setting? I mean, really change it. This next idea, well, it's a complete and total game changer. I want you to take a second and really let this one sink in. Your thoughts, your anxieties, your worries, they are not the core of who you are. They're just visitors. They're temporary. They're just passing through. Grasping this one concept is the absolute turning point for getting some control back over your inner world. Here's a fantastic way to visualize this separation. Just picture your mind as a busy highway. And all your thoughts, they're just the cars. Some are fast, some are slow, some are super noisy. Your job isn't to run out and jump into the traffic. Nope. Your job is to be the calm observer on the side of the road, just watching it all go by. So this idea of being the observer is pretty powerful, right? But it does bring up a pretty big question. How do you actually do it? Especially in a really stressful moment. Well, that's where a practical method comes in. And it's called POISE. It's a simple, memorable acronym for a technique you can use literally anytime, anywhere, to manage those thoughts and find that inner sense of calm we're all looking for. All right, let's walk through this together, step by step. It starts with P, for presence. You just notice a thought or a feeling prop up without judging it or getting attached to it. Next up, O, for observer. You give it a simple label in your head like, okay, this is a thought about anxiety, or that's a worry about work. This creates a little bit of distance. Then I, for investigate. You just watch it. You witness it pass by like a cloud, knowing that you are the big wide sky, not the cloud. S is the big one, the shift. You actively move your focus away from the thought and onto that vast, silent, aware space behind all the thoughts. And finally, E, for embody. You just rest in that quiet space. You connect with it, and you let yourself feel its natural peace. It's like a full mental reset in 5 simple steps. Now, to really bring this practice to life and make it feel less, abstract, there's this really beautiful metaphor that helps a lot. And it's about being a garden. So I want you to imagine your mind is a garden. Just picture it. Now, what happens if you just leave a garden completely alone, right? Weeds, those annoying, pesky, negative thoughts, they start to pop up everywhere, and they choke out all the beautiful flowers. The states of peace and joy. Thinking about it this way really transforms this mental practice from a chore into a really tangible act of cultivation. And the logic of a garden, it's just so simple. You harvest what you plant. Every single thought you choose to entertain is a seed. So if you spend all your mental energy watering seeds of worry and resentment, you can't be surprised when you end up harvesting a whole garden full of anxiety, right?
But the really powerful flip side is that you can choose to plant seeds of gratitude and patience and joy. And if you do, you will inevitably harvest those things instead.
This makes your daily mental practice super clear. Tending to your garden means you notice the weeds, those negative thoughts, as soon as they appear. You don't fight them because that just makes their roots stronger. You just notice them, and with a little bit of awareness, you gently pull them out. At the same time, you consciously water the flowers, those moments of peace, those thoughts of gratitude. You've got to remember, you are the master gardener of your own mind. You get to decide what flourishes in there.
So, all of this, it brings us to the most empowering takeaway of all, really the core of this entire practice.
This is it. This is the ultimate shift in perspective. You can actually move from being a passive victim of your own mental weather, getting tossed around by storms of anxiety and doubt, to being the active, conscious cultivator of your own beautiful, peaceful inner garden. You are in charge. So how do you make this shift real? Well, the recommendation is surprisingly simple. Just 5 or 6 times a day. That's it. Every time you feel one of those negative thoughts start to bubble up, just take 30 seconds to run through the POISE method. See, it's not about one long, hour-long meditation session. It's about these small, consistent moments of course correction throughout your day that really build that lasting mental strength. And so we end right back where we started, with a choice. The POISE method isn't just some clever acronym. It's a tool. It's a tool that empowers you to choose, moment by moment, what kind of inner world you want to live in. You're the gardener. The ground is fertile. So the only question left is, what will you choose to cultivate today?